Wait a second, because if the latest information surrounding Argentina and Spain is confirmed, we could be looking at one of the most unbelievable developments in World Cup history. A World Cup final being played again. Yes, that is exactly what is being discussed. According to the latest claims surrounding the case, FIFA and the Court of Arbitration for Sport, known as the CAS, have reached a major development regarding Argentina's complaint over the World Cup final against Spain. And the possibility being discussed is absolutely enormous. Argentina could potentially have another chance to play the World Cup final. But before jumping to conclusions, there is something extremely important that we need to understand. What exactly did Argentina claim? Why was the case sent to the CAS? What did FIFA allegedly find during the process? And most importantly, does this actually mean that Argentina and Spain will play the final again? Because there is a huge difference between an investigation moving forward and an official decision ordering a replay. So let's go through everything carefully, step by step, because this story has developed incredibly quickly. And honestly, if you followed that final, you already know why this situation has created so much debate. Argentina against Spain was supposed to be the biggest match of the tournament. The World Cup final. One game, one trophy, one champion. But according to the complaint being discussed, Argentina believes that several incidents during the match raised serious questions about the way the final was handled. And now, at the last minute, the case has reportedly reached a stage where FIFA and the CAS are being discussed together in connection with the final resolution. That is where things become extremely interesting. Let's go back to the beginning. A few hours ago, FIFA reportedly referred Argentina's claim to the CAS, an extremely important body when it comes to disputes involving sports. The purpose of such a process is to examine the arguments, the evidence, the decisions that were made, and the circumstances surrounding the complaint. In other words, the case was not simply ignored. It continued moving forward. And that is one of the most important details in this entire story. Because if the complaint had simply been rejected and closed, there would be very little left to discuss. But according to the information being circulated, the case remained open. And that opened the door for another stage of examination. This is where the CAS enters the picture. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has a major role in resolving sporting disputes, particularly when serious disagreements arise between organizations, federations, clubs, players, or other parties involved in sport. So when a case reaches that level, it naturally attracts enormous attention. And in this situation, the attention is even greater because the complaint concerns the World Cup final. Think about that for a moment. This isn't a dispute over an ordinary league match. This isn't a disagreement over a friendly game. This concerns the final match of the biggest tournament in international football, Argentina versus Spain. And according to the claim, Argentina believes that the circumstances surrounding that final deserve another look. Now, here is where the story becomes even more controversial. According to the complaint, Argentina raised questions about the refereeing during the match. One of the issues being discussed involves the sending off of an Argentine player. Argentina's side argues that the red card should not have been given. And if you watch the match, you can understand why a decision like that would become such a major talking point. In a World Cup final, every decision matters. Every tackle matters. Every yellow card matters. Every substitution matters. Every VAR review matters. And when one team believes that a major decision changed the balance of the game, emotions can become extremely intense. But the Argentine complaint reportedly goes beyond one individual refereeing decision. There are also allegations concerning the overall handling of the match and claims of possible external influence. This is where we have to be extremely careful. There is a difference between saying that something looked suspicious to viewers and proving that a match was actually manipulated. Those are two completely different things. And that distinction is extremely important when discussing a case like this. The complaint may raise questions. It may request investigations. It may present arguments and evidence. But an allegation does not automatically become a proven fact. That is precisely why an investigation or arbitration process matters. The purpose is to examine what actually happened. And that is reportedly what the CAS has been doing. According to the information surrounding the claim, the CAS has spent the latest hours reviewing the case and examining the different elements presented. And the reported development has surprised many people because Argentina's position is allegedly receiving significant consideration. This is where FIFA also becomes important. According to the story, FIFA did not simply close Argentina's complaint. Instead, the matter continued through the appropriate process and was referred to the CAS. That alone is a major development for the story, because it means that the complaint remained alive. And that is why people are now asking the biggest question of all. Could the World Cup final actually be played again? Now, let's slow down for a moment, because this is the point where rumors can easily become confused with official decisions. The idea of a replay is enormous. It would be something almost unprecedented at this level. Imagine announcing that a World Cup final has to be played again. Millions of fans would immediately ask the same questions. What happens to the trophy? What happens to Spain's result? What happens to Argentina's result? Would the previous final simply be erased? Would the replay determine the official champion? Would both teams have to prepare for another final? And what would happen to everything that occurred after the original match? Those questions are precisely why any decision involving the World Cup final would be extremely complicated. But according to the claims surrounding the case, the possibility of further action is now being discussed because of the investigation. And this is why the alleged position of FIFA and the CAS has generated so much attention. The story claims that both bodies could be agreeing with elements of Argentina's complaint. If that were officially confirmed, it would represent a dramatic development. But again, agreeing that a complaint deserves consideration is not necessarily the same as ordering a replay. That distinction cannot be ignored. Still, the fact that the case reportedly progressed this far is enough to create enormous speculation. And then we arrive at the biggest argument made by Argentina's side. The question of why Argentina struggled to control the match. Argentina is a team traditionally associated with possession, creativity, technical quality, and control. So when a team of that level spends long stretches without controlling the ball, naturally people start asking questions. How did Spain dominate possession? Why couldn't Argentina impose its normal style? Why did Spain appear to control so much of the match? And was there something behind that? Those are legitimate questions for fans to discuss. But once again, questions are not proof. Some people believe the explanation was simply tactical. Spain may have had a better game plan. Spain may have pressed better. Spain may have controlled the midfield. Argentina may simply have struggled to find its rhythm. That is one possible interpretation. But Argentina's complaint reportedly takes a different view and questions whether the circumstances surrounding the match were fair. This is where the controversy becomes much bigger than football itself. Because if the allegations were ever proven, the consequences would be enormous. But if they are not proven, then the original result remains the result. And that is why the investigation is so important. It is supposed to separate speculation from evidence. It is supposed to determine what actually happened. And that is exactly what fans around the world are waiting to understand. Now, according to the latest claims being circulated, the Argentine side is reportedly advancing strongly with its complaint. The case has moved through FIFA. The CAS has become involved. Investigations have reportedly taken place. And now people are waiting for the final official explanation. This is the moment where everything could change, because there are several possible outcomes. One possibility is that the complaint is rejected and the original World Cup final remains completely valid. Another possibility is that certain decisions or procedures are criticized without the final itself being replayed. And then there is the extraordinary possibility that further action could be ordered. That is the scenario creating the biggest reaction among Argentine supporters. A replay of the World Cup final. Just imagine the announcement. Argentina versus Spain. Again, the same two national teams. The same World Cup, but with everything on the line once more. It would instantly become one of the most discussed events in football history. But before anyone celebrates or prepares for another final, there is still one crucial thing to remember. The official wording matters. In cases like this, one sentence can completely change the meaning of the decision. There is a huge difference between saying that an investigation has identified irregularities and saying that the result has been annulled. There is another huge difference between saying that Argentina's complaint has merit and saying that Argentina has automatically been declared the champion. And there is an even bigger difference between reopening a case and ordering an entirely new World Cup final. So fans should pay close attention to the actual official decision rather than social media headlines. Because this story is moving incredibly quickly, and it would be very easy for a rumor to become exaggerated before the complete details are known. Still, one thing is undeniable. Argentina's complaint has created an extraordinary situation. A World Cup final that was supposed to be finished could once again be at the center of international football controversy. FIFA is involved. The CAS is involved. Argentina is pushing its case. Spain is directly affected by any potential decision. And the World Cup itself is at the center of the discussion. That is why this story has become so important. For Argentina supporters, this is about much more than one match. It is about whether the final was handled fairly. For Spain supporters, it is about defending the result they earned on the field. And for neutral fans, it is about understanding whether the allegations have enough evidence to justify such an extraordinary action. At the end of the day, football has always been full of controversy. Refereeing decisions have changed matches. VAR decisions have created arguments. Red cards have changed the course of finals. And disputed moments have been debated for decades. But very few controversies ever reach the point where people seriously discuss replaying a World Cup final. That is what makes this particular situation so extraordinary. So now, all eyes are on the next official announcement. Will Argentina get another opportunity? Will Spain remain the official winner? Will the final result stand? Or will football history actually have to be rewritten? Those are the questions that remain. And if the reports surrounding the CAS and FIFA decision are confirmed, we could be heading toward one of the most dramatic moments in World Cup history. But remember, until the official resolution clearly states what happens next, the idea of a replay should be treated as a possibility being discussed, not as an established fact. That distinction is extremely important, because when the stakes are this high, one official announcement can change everything. So now I want to hear from you. If Argentina's complaint were officially upheld, do you believe the World Cup final should actually be played again? Should Argentina and Spain receive another chance to decide the champion on the field? Or should the original result remain untouched regardless of the controversy? Let me know exactly what you think in the comments. Because this story is far from ordinary. And if the next announcement really does change the fate of Argentina, Spain, and the World Cup itself, we could be witnessing a moment that football fans will talk about for generations. For now, all we can do is wait for the official decision and separate what has actually been confirmed from what is still being claimed. One thing is certain, though, this story is not over yet. And if Argentina really does get another chance to play the World Cup final, football history could be rewritten in a way that nobody expected. Stay tuned, because the next update could change everything.